Okay, I hope you can see my head, and I hope the lighting's okay. But I know when I was buying a boldly designed harness, I was really conflicted for a long time about how to know which one I needed, whether the basic assistance harness or the mobility support harness. Back and forth. So I thought I would make a video for other people ordering, sort of talk about the differences. I've only had the mobility support for one day, so I've only used it a couple times. So I don't know quite as much about it yet, but just the differences I've noticed so far, what the differences are, and sort of make you maybe help you make a decision. So initially, I got the basic assistance harness. It has a, well, I say soft handle. It's not rigid. It's pliable, but it's very thick leather, so it does stand up. It just doesn't, you can't push down on it, and it doesn't fold down. So that being said, this is not a weight-bearing harness. So if you need to put downward pressure on your dog, this would not be the harness for you, because it does not do that. The thing I don't like in that respect is, like if I stand up to get from getting something or something like that, and my head starts to spin, I get really dizzy, I have to lean all the way over to brace on the back of my dog. I can't just use the handle, because like, you can't put downward pressure on it. Which, you know, bending over is what makes me dizzy. So that's not fun all the time. So, and also when I'm leaning that far down, I just feel like I don't have as much of a grip on my surroundings. But it's really great. The way this one works is basically when your dog is wearing this, you are pulling up on the handle. So the handle sort of anchors you to your dog's stability, if that makes sense. I really like it. It works really well. One of the main differences that I've noticed between the two harnesses is the type of movement, the type of feedback you get through the handle. This handle moves, and since you're pulling up and you're staying relatively still as the dog moves underneath you. So it's a much more solid, like you don't get a lot of torque, on your hand, or like you don't feel the handle in your hand doesn't really move. Another thing to know about this is it does come with a pull strap. It comes just like you see here, and with a pull strap, which is currently on the back of my other harness. Oh, if I can get it off. Pull strap. And you can buy these separate also, so if you got the mobility support, you could buy it separate. It hooks onto the back of these D-rings. And basically what I use the two handles for, if I'm walking through a parking lot or wanting to walk somewhere relatively fast, like I'm having trouble staying on my feet, or going upstairs. This is awesome for going upstairs. I let him walk ahead of me and pull against him to come up the stairs, so that's awesome. This, you need the more of in a classic heel position, and this is just for basic balance and stability. It's a great harness. Mine is very well made. I have had no issues with it whatsoever. So yeah, this is more considered more of a light duty mobility, but basically it's a balance and stability harness, which is, what I use it for. And so no bracing, no heavy mobility on it. Then you have the mobility support harness right here. Again, the key difference is the handle here. Let me nudge it up here. Okay. So this, first of all, both of these harnesses are amazingly light. This one especially, the handle is so light. I mean, it's hard to believe it's metal. It's so light. Now, this is not what I use it for, per se, but this is the harness you need if you're going to be putting downward pressure on your dog. So if you need to push down on your dog to stand up, to walk properly, you need this one because it's got the rigid handle. A lot of people liken this to a handle like a stair rail, and I kind of see that. The main difference I notice between the two is that this one, because the handle is fixed to the dog, when the dog moves, you feel the handle move in your hand. So, which is not unstable by any means, but whereas with this harness, your hand stays still and the harness moves. So that's a big difference in that. In this one too, you have to basically, with the basic assistance harness, you have to pretty much be pulling up on it, actively pulling up on it, and pulling against the harness to use it, to balance with it, pretty much. This one, you can just rest your hand on top of and sort of, you know, go with it that way. So this one's not like that. That's another key difference. Another big difference is going under things. These come in different handle heights, of course, as do these, but this is a 6-inch handle for my dog, and works perfect for us. And while it does bend, so he can go underneath things, it's just a little more cumbersome. It's always sticking up kind of in the way, and you have to bend your harness for it to go underneath something. This one, on the other hand, folds down. So you just pull out these little doohickeys, and it folds flat. So this is a lot more accessible for cars, for going under tables, because it folds pretty much flat to the harness. The only thing about this one is, depending on where you have it set here, there's more stuff to get caught on. I noticed today Levi was knocking into things with this part, because things can get hung on this part of the handle. So yeah, that's really the big difference I noticed so far, is just movement of the handle in your hand. They just feel completely different. Again, downward pressure, no downward pressure. They can both be used for stability. A lot of people consider this a more heavy-duty, more cumbersome harness. I don't find it that way. With my particular disability, I feel like I can walk quicker in this one. I don't know why, but I feel like I can walk. I'm a very fast walker, so I like this one because I feel like I can walk at a quicker pace. Because, again, you're not pulling up, you're just kind of resting your hand on top of it. All depends on how you use it. So, in this one, they can walk a little more ahead of you, and they almost need to walk a little more ahead. This one needs to be a pretty close to the shoulder heel, so that you're not pulling on the harness handle or anything like that. So, and of course, you can get the banner badge, you can get the pull strap to attach to this, and there's so many options. And the website for these is boldleaddesigns.com. This one, mobility support starts at $3.99. And this basic assistance starts at $3.05, I think. There's all kinds of options that you can do for it. So, yeah, that's the main difference between the two. Hopefully this helps you make a decision on the one that you need, because I was really confused on which one I need. And they're both great. They're just a little bit different. And hopefully this video has sort of shown you some of the differences and helped you to understand maybe which one you need. Alright, bye guys.